On the morning of April 30th, 2022, at exactly 9:02 in the morning, in a hospital in Oregon, a baby boy was born via cesarean section. He weighed 7 pounds and 6 ounces. He measured 19.5 inches long. He arrived 2 weeks earlier than his due date, and when the medical team placed him in his mother's arms, she wept the kind of tears that only mothers of miracle babies know how to weep. Because this baby was, in every sense that mattered, a miracle. He had been conceived after a devastating miscarriage. He had been carried by his mother through a pregnancy full of anxiety and prayer. He had been anticipated by an older brother and sister who were bursting with excitement to meet him. And he had been diagnosed, before he was ever born, with the same genetic condition that his father and his siblings shared. His name was Josiah Luke Roloff. He was the 7th grandchild of Matt and Amy Roloff. He was the youngest of Zach and Tori Roloff's 3 children, and his birth, celebrated with joy on Instagram and on Little People Big World, closed one chapter and opened another in the ongoing Roloff family story. Tonight on LPBW Update, we are walking through the full story of Josiah Luke Roloff, the rainbow baby, the miracle, the little boy who arrived when the family most needed him. His pregnancy, his birth, his achondroplasia diagnosis, his mother's incredibly difficult recovery, his first months at home, his siblings' immediate obsession with him, his 2023 Disneyland trip, his first birthday celebration, his current life as a 3-year-old growing up between Washington and Oregon. Because Josiah is not just a baby. He is a symbol of what Zach and Tori endured to bring him into the world, a symbol of what the Roloff family means when it says that all life is a gift, and a symbol of the next generation, still growing, still becoming, still shaping the family story with every passing day. Let us start with the pregnancy, because to understand Josiah's arrival, you have to understand what preceded him. In 2021, Zach and Tori Roloff had wanted to expand their family. They already had Jackson, born in 2017, and Lilah, born in 2019. They wanted a 3rd child. They were emotionally ready. They were financially ready. Their marriage was strong. Their older children were at ages where they could accommodate a new baby. Tori conceived. The family was joyful. And then, at what should have been the 8-week ultrasound, the devastating news came. There was no heartbeat. Tori had miscarried, quietly, weeks earlier, before she had even known. The loss was profound. Tori shared the news publicly, though carefully, on social media. She talked about the pain of losing a pregnancy she had wanted. She talked about how it changed her. She talked about the emotional recovery that would follow. The Roloff family and the LPBW fan base rallied around her. Other mothers who had experienced miscarriage shared their own stories in the comments. It was one of the more heartbreaking moments in Tori's public life, and it made everything that came next more emotionally weighted. Later in 2021, Tori conceived again. This time she was more cautious. Every appointment was accompanied by anxiety. Every symptom was analyzed with worry. She has talked publicly, in interviews and on social media, about how the miscarriage had changed her approach to pregnancy. She could no longer take things for granted. She could not, in her own words, look at a positive test and celebrate without also holding her breath. But the pregnancy progressed. Week by week, month by month, the baby was growing. The heartbeat was strong. And by the time the mid-pregnancy ultrasounds came around, the family knew that this baby, unlike the one they had lost, was going to make it. The imaging during the pregnancy also gave the family important information. Prenatal imaging can often detect signs of achondroplasia, particularly a larger-than-average head measurement and shorter-than-average long bone measurements. Both signs were present in Tori's ultrasounds. The doctors were able to tell Zach and Tori, before Josiah was born, that he would likely have the same form of dwarfism his father and siblings had. The family accepted the news calmly. They had, at that point, extensive experience with achondroplasia. Jackson and Lilah had both been born with it. They knew the medical considerations. They knew the resources. They knew what to expect. Whether the baby was going to have achondroplasia or be of average height was not going to change how much they loved him. What mattered was that he was healthy and would be born safely. On April 30th, 2022, Josiah arrived. He came 2 weeks earlier than his due date. The scheduled cesarean section, Tori's third, was moved up. She underwent the procedure. Zach was there beside her, and when the doctors delivered Josiah, the family had their third child. Tori's Instagram post announcing his birth on May 3rd, 2022, was overflowing with joy. "Welcome to the world, sweet Josiah Luke," she wrote. She said he had surprised them all by coming early, but that the wait had felt like a lifetime. She called him the best early birthday present a mama could ask for. Her own birthday was on May 3rd, the day of the post. Josiah's arrival 3 days before her birthday was the ultimate gift. Zach posted his own announcement. "Josiah Luke Roloff was born on April 30th, 2022, he wrote. "He came about 2 weeks early, but we were ready. Super happy for our family, and the kids adore him already. Very proud of Tori as well. She has done incredible." The Roloff fan base erupted in celebration. Comments poured in. Fans who had followed Tori through the miscarriage months earlier felt a shared sense of relief and joy. The rainbow baby had arrived. The story that had begun in loss had ended in life, and the Roloff family had welcomed its 7th grandchild. But the celebration was tempered, in the days that followed, by a very real medical crisis for Tori. She has shared, on Instagram and on the show, that her recovery from her third C-section was much more difficult than her previous 2 had been. Just days after Josiah's birth, when she brought him home from the hospital, Tori experienced pain that she has described as some of the worst she had ever felt. On May 8th, 2022, she wrote in an Instagram story that everyone kept telling her after the fact how hard C-section number 3 was, and that they were right. She did not remember pain like that. She wrote that on her first night home from the hospital, her pain was so bad that she and Zach almost called 911. Fortunately, she was able to get back on track with medication after that. But the moment had been real. Tori had been genuinely worried about her own health, in a moment when she should have been simply enjoying her newborn. That kind of postpartum medical challenge is one that many mothers face, but few reality television stars talk about openly. Tori did, and in doing so, she helped normalize the conversation about the physical difficulties of childbirth for other mothers watching her. Her transparency was, in its own way, a form of advocacy. The first weeks with Josiah at home were, once the pain crisis passed, wonderful. Tori shared updates on Instagram about her new baby. She wrote that he was the most straightforward, easy baby she had experienced. She wrote that he loved his siblings and was tolerant of the constant attention Jackson and Lilah were giving him. She shared adorable photos of Lilah pointing at Josiah's ears, mouth, and nose before giving him a little kiss. She shared photos of Jackson holding his baby brother with the kind of confidence that only an experienced big brother can have. She shared photos of Josiah snuggled up with a bunny stuffed animal. She shared a milestone moment when Josiah was fully awake and alert for the first time, on May 13th, 2022. Every update was met with hundreds or thousands of comments from fans who felt they were witnessing the growth of another beloved Roloff child in real time. The family, in the wake of the miscarriage the previous year, was now surrounded by joy. Then came the Achondroplasia announcement. 3 weeks after Josiah's birth, in an exclusive interview with Us Weekly on May 25th, 2022, Zach and Tori confirmed publicly what the prenatal imaging had already suggested. Josiah had achondroplasia. He would, like his father and older siblings, be a little person. The way Zach and Tori framed the announcement was, in retrospect, one of the most beautiful and important statements any parents of a child with dwarfism have made in the public eye. Zach said, "He is Josiah. He has achondroplasia, but he is not like Josiah the achondroplasia." Tori added, "Just like I am Tori, I have brown hair. I am not a brunette. That is not how I would classify myself." In those 2 sentences, Zach and Tori articulated something profound. Their son's medical condition was a fact of his life. It was not the totality of his identity. He was Josiah first. Everything else, including his dwarfism, was a feature, not a definition. That framing, drawn from the Roloff family's decades of experience with dwarfism advocacy, offered other parents of children with achondroplasia a model for how to talk about their own children. Do not lead with the diagnosis, lead with the child. The child, in all their fullness, is the point. The condition is just one of many things about them. Zach and Tori also used the Josiah announcement to reaffirm their commitment to advocacy. Zach told Us Weekly that he and Tori would definitely be advocates for people with dwarfism because of their kids. Tori talked about how normalized dwarfism was in the Roloff family. She acknowledged that they had many resources that other parents did not have, and that they were committed to using their platform to help those other parents. That commitment has continued in the years since. The Raising Heights podcast, the social media updates, the interviews, all of them have consistently included content that supports and educates the broader achondroplasia community. Josiah's birth was not just a family event. It was a launching point for the next chapter of the Roloff family's advocacy work. The first year of Josiah's life was full of the kind of milestones and small joys that fans of the show could follow along with. In December of 2022, Tori shared a photo of Josiah smiling big for the camera. He was 7 months old, healthy, growing, and clearly enjoying his family. In January of 2023, Zach and Tori took all 3 children to Disneyland. Josiah, at just 8 months old, took a nap while his older siblings enjoyed the rides. The trip was documented in a series of adorable Instagram posts. Josiah in a stroller, Josiah being held by his mother, Josiah looking around with the kind of wide-eyed baby wonder that made fans smile. The Disneyland trip was a family milestone. It was the first big vacation the family took as a group of 5, with all 3 children old enough to travel. It represented the way the Roloff family was moving into a new phase, with more mobility, more adventures, and more shared experiences. In March of 2023, Josiah was 10 months old and clearly developing on schedule. Tori shared photos of him spending time outside with his siblings. He was crawling, he was pulling himself up, he was reaching for things. He was, by every visible measure, doing what a healthy 10-month-old should be doing. Tori has said in interviews that Josiah, in her prediction, would talk and walk faster than Jackson and Lilah did. She said he was so determined, and her prediction was based on the daily observation of a mother who had raised 2 previous children through the same developmental stages and could recognize the signs of a particularly determined little person. April of 2023 brought Josiah's first birthday. Tori celebrated the milestone with a series of Instagram posts. She thanked her son for a wonderful first year. She marveled at how quickly the time had passed. She shared photos of him with a little birthday hat, his face covered in cake, his siblings gathered around him for the moment. The first birthday of any child is a meaningful marker for the parents. For Zach and Tori, it was particularly meaningful because of everything that had preceded Josiah's birth. The miscarriage, the anxious pregnancy, the difficult C-section, the pain crisis after coming home from the hospital. All of it had led to this moment, a healthy 1-year-old blowing out his single candle, surrounded by a family that had fought to bring him into the world. That is what a rainbow baby's first birthday looks like. It is not just a celebration of a year of life. It is a celebration of everything that made that year possible. As of this recording in 2026, Josiah is 3.5 years old. He is doing well. He is developing appropriately. He is a full participant in his family. He was among the 8 Roloff grandchildren who gathered on the couch for Tori's viral cousin photo before Thanksgiving 2025. He was, presumably, at the family Christmas gathering that Isabel Roloff documented on December 26, 2025. He is growing up between Battleground, Washington, where his parents live, and Roloff Farms in Oregon, which he visits with his family. He is one of the youngest Roloffs. He is one of the newest, and he is, in every meaningful sense, the last of a specific generation of Roloff babies. Zach and Tori have not publicly announced plans for a 4th child. Whether Josiah remains the youngest of his family is unknown. What is known is that, for now, he is the baby, and he is being spoiled and loved and celebrated accordingly. What is Josiah's future going to look like? Nobody knows. He will grow up in the post-little people, big world era, without the constant presence of cameras in his life. He will have the medical monitoring that comes with achondroplasia, including the possibility of leg surgeries, potential shunt considerations, and orthopedic care. He will be shaped by his parents' faith, their values, and their commitment to raising him as a whole human being rather than just a person with a diagnosis. He will grow up with two older siblings who both have achondroplasia, giving him a built-in support system of people who understand his experience from the inside. And he will grow up as part of the broader Roloff family, which now includes 8 grandchildren spread across 3 states, all of whom will shape his understanding of what family means. His future is, by every measure, bright. His parents have set him up for it as well as they possibly could. What can we learn from Josiah's story? A few things. First, that miscarriage and pregnancy loss are more common than the reality television industrial complex usually acknowledges, and that talking about them openly is a service to other families going through the same thing. Second, that prenatal diagnoses do not have to be tragic. Zach and Tori knew about Josiah's achondroplasia before he was born. It did not change their love for him. It did not change their excitement. It was just information. Third, that the way parents frame their child's medical conditions matters enormously. Zach and Tori's insistence that Josiah is Josiah, not Josiah the achondroplasia, is a philosophy that any parent of any child with any diagnosis can learn from. And fourth, that the smallest members of a family can sometimes carry the biggest symbolic weight. Josiah is a rainbow baby. He is a symbol of the family's resilience. He is a symbol of what love and prayer and medicine can bring back into a family after loss. And he is, at just 3 years old, one of the most quietly important members of the current Roloff family generation. So I want to know what you think. What is your favorite Josiah Roloff moment from watching him grow up on social media over the past 4 years? Do you think Zach and Tori's approach to talking about his diagnosis is the model other parents should follow? And do you think Zach and Tori will have another child eventually? Or do you think their family of 5 is complete? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one and I love hearing from you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to LPBW Update, and ring the bell so you do not miss our weekly Roloff family stories. We are committed to bringing you the truth, the timeline, and the heart of every member of this remarkable family. I will see you on the next one.